What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Bombs Over Providence, and we're going back to their 2005 album, Shake Your Body Politic, a one-off album. Once again, big shout out to Chris for sending this. So the next tune, as with a number of others we've already heard, I'm going to make sure I get this right, it has a very funny name. A Vision After the Sermon, Jacob Wrestling with the Junior Boys Soccer Team. So yeah, it sounds like maybe it'll deal with, like Catholic Church abuse scandal, perhaps, or at the very least, the concepts running in that direction. I suppose it could be another one where the title has its own sort of idiomatic meaning, but then there's also a narrative that's perhaps adjacent to it or not necessarily connected to what appears to be the theme of the title. Either way, I will check the lyrics after we listen, so let's hear it. This is Bombs Over Providence. The tune is A Vision After the Sermon, Jacob Wrestling with the Junior Boys Soccer Team from their 2005 album, Shake Your Body Politic. Well, sounds like a Rise Against thing. Love that guitar work. I really like that one a lot. Sonically, lyrically, I'm gonna have to pick up most with the post-reaction reading. There are a couple lines I caught. Something about like sanctifying a union, and something about like being on an altar. So that it's like, is it, is there like, is this talk of marriage or like, a life trajectory? It feels like it was, again, maybe not necessarily clear given the sort of clever and funny title. But again, first I should mention actually the vocal work. I mean, just the crazy, like passionate, shouty vocal work. That can't be easy to like, perform with that intensity, like show after show and, song after song. So I do love their sort of overlapping. They're kind of like, the Beastie Boys version of punk rock, in that they sort of like jump in on each other's lines, and they like multiple singers will finish like one verse, so it feels very like participatory, for lack of a better word. But again, like very epic, intense vocals. Again, the comparisons to Leftover Crack sometimes I think are appropriate. But ultimately, as I said, the really emotional guitar work, like that got me in this one. It was definitely like well crafted. So yeah, let's hear what it's actually about. And once again, shout out to Chris for sending not only the music, but also taking the time to spell out the lyrics. Okay. Let's go to... Alright. A vision after the sermon, Jacob wrestling with the junior boys soccer team. Ash and palm, burnt black, cake to my forehead. That's Ash Wednesday. I grew up in a Catholic home, and even though as an adult I became secular, most of my extended family is Catholic still. Ash and palm, burnt black, cake to my forehead, for we are the children of faith and dead gods. Fear not bedrooms nor states, as they are merely the bait, and hate is still the sermon of this mass. I have lost the nerve to listen about hellfire, brimstone, self-guilt, and atonement. It's funny though, like I grew up in a Catholic environment, but with maybe an occasional exception, like people, like an occasional like teacher in high school, because I went to a Catholic high school, although I went to regular like secular public schools before that. But yeah, I was never really in a like fire and brimstone, you're all going to hell sort of environment. It was a much more like mellow Catholicism, thankfully. But I've lost the nerve to listen about hellfire, brimstone, self-guilt, and atonement. How could I sanctify a union? I'm rethinking gender as pink and blue holding cells. Triumvirate of old shame, old hate, and apologia. We feared to death the father in the son's bedroom. Give up on the ghost, Padre. He's keeping it quiet. Wow, that is a hilarious line. Are we not as strong as gods we've killed and prove wrong? As the gods we've killed, there's a bit of Nietzsche there, that God is dead and his blood is on our hands. Can you not all see it? From Thus Spake Zarathustra. But are we not as strong as gods we've killed and proved wrong? Change comes slowly. Can you bear the weight of first sin and prisoner's fate? I gain from picking scabs my wherewithal, my open tabs. Rosary is our fist, thanks to the fates I kissed. I heard that line about I kissed, but I didn't know what came before it. Burn up every bill on the table. Deny any oath we swore. What about all the love in my brother? Yeah, what about all that? It doesn't seem like that happens often enough. Growing up thinking it was wrong, stones thrown had wings of scripture, so ollie ollie oxen free, you better read up boy, kneel down and get praying. I got a Mother Mary, says I'll get to you first. Deny that I could be as strong and you'll soon regret it. Deny that I could last as long and I'll bury the last to say it. Idle hands, safer beds, quiet minds, take this to bed. Idle hands are the devil's work, but here we're saying idle hands, safer beds, quiet minds. So yeah, it sounds like someone who grew up in a more, let's say, intense and antagonistic or hostile Catholic environment, and ultimately came to reject much of what was around him, in part because of an apparent disconnect between the professed, morality of it all and what he saw, but also seemingly for epistemological and ontological reasons, like why we believe what we believe and what justification we provide for it. So yeah, definitely seems different than the title might have suggested, and again, only because I've heard the tunes leading up to this point would I even have considered that the title would actually be running in a direction at least adjacent to. Now, of course, again, Catholic Church, clergy scandal, which, sort of an international thing and, was not unique to the Catholic Church. Certainly there's been similar revelations in other religious sects, S-E-C-T-S, which is always a dangerous word to say. But so in a way it feels like the title, it's speaking to some of what the song is about, but again, it's sort of it's adjacent at best. It's not parallel. It's not exactly what you would think given the title. In any case, big shout out once again to Chris for sharing. When we come back to them the next time, it will be Cobra Constant Committee Bake Sale. Cobra Constant Committee Bake Sale. Well, it's hilarious. I don't quite know what to make of it, but I guess I'll speculate about that the next time. Do let me know what you think of this, and I will see you then. Peace.